little birdie told me that you guys went about town last night.
We did, yeah. We usually try to, but yeah, we're around. Definitely seeing the sights.
And did you have fun?
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of fun. yeah, it was a great time.
I hope you got some sleep or something today.
A little bit, maybe not as much as I should have, but yeah, it's okay.
Is this like the end of the tour or something?
No, it's actually like right in the middle of it. Yeah, it's kind of like a never-ending tour. It's going to be we're pretty much booked until December.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good news then.
Yeah.
Always good to be working as a musician.
No, for sure. And it's great because you just see all these amazing places, and we meet amazing people every day, and it's like the lush life. You know, I like to say it's a sweet life. Yeah.
Especially if you can party until like late.
Yeah, that too. And we could play the show, and it's fun, and we could party tonight too, and it's I'll be fine. Yeah.
And how was the show tonight? Because you guys just played like an hour ago, more or less.
No, the crowd was awesome. It was like such a warm like reaction to us, and like such a sweet feeling. So we had a great time. Yeah.
Do you guys feel that, for instance, because your music tends to be leave room for silence,
right?
And so you guys feel that there's more, you're more open to how do I explain this? Like there's nuances between shows that you guys are more attentive to that. Do you believe?
Yeah, totally. And it's what I really like about playing shows is that it's so different. Like there'll be, for instance, this crowd could be very warm and very generous, and like also we'll have moments where people are going a little wild for a second. Then there'll be other crowds where it's just wild the whole time. People are like singing every line of a song. Like we played Kuala Lumpur, and it was like every word was being sung. And then other shows like we played Berlin, and it's a very like polite, like attentive crowd. Everyone's just like really into the music. You can't hear like a pin drop. So I just love that contrast of shows, like, and they're all really powerful in their own way. I love that.
Done Japan?
We have, yeah. We just did Tokyo.
Because they seem to be quiet, like until like the very end, and then clap.
We experienced that. That was one of the quietest shows too. Like during the songs, you couldn't hear anything. It was like I said, a pin dropping, and then all of a sudden it gets crazy, like in between songs. Yeah.
I can imagine. Kind of being both weird and fun.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time in Tokyo.
What's your favorite time to play as a band? In terms of your music, what does it feel like it's best in terms of lighting, in terms of the time of day or something? Yeah,
I mean, I'm such a night person. Like it feels strange for me to play in the day. Like I'm the vampiric a bit by nature. So the later the better.
Kindred spirits.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I love playing at night. I think it makes sense. The music is very much a nighttime for me, like a very nighttime feeling. So I like that. But I kind of just like it all. It's hard for me to pick. Oh, this is besides nighttime. I like when the crowds do their thing and they just kind of react the way they want to react. They're all equally exhilarating for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Often do you guys have to speak of smoking now?
Smoking pretty much every day. Yeah, every day. Yeah, and the band isn't really like no one's really a smoker either. It's like kind of casual.
Oh.
Yeah, it's strange. And so like I just smoke like in a ritual way. Like every so often, I kind of like a cigarette to enhance the mood. But I'm not a smoker. Like I don't smoke all day, chain smoking. So a cigarette for me heightens some sort of mood. Hence the name. The name plays into that, of course.
Okay.
So that's how I smoke. I'm not addicted. I'm not an addictive smoker.
So maybe that's why there's some poetry to the name, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if it was so current, then maybe it wouldn't mean as much, I guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't mean as much, and that's why it was special when I, found the name, because it was a special feeling for me to kind of get into this new thing, like, having a cigarette after being with somebody, and it was a new thing, and it wasn't something that I did too often. It was like a kind of a special thing.
Okay, so only when
the time is right. Yeah, the time is right. Yeah.
Not to qualify.
Yeah, exactly.
but for instance, like top in terms of top things to do after sex, how far up do cigarettes rank? I guess
it's pretty high. Yeah. I would say it's very high. It's like probably number two. Number two is a cigarette, and the best thing to do after sex is probably have more sex. So like, it's my number one.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Exactly.
So that's it.
What about bubblegum or water?
Those would be a lot lower because those are more like in a different category. Yeah.
This is a shit band name, like Water After Sex. I just realized.
It sounds more surreal or something.
Water After Sex.
Yeah, Water After Sex.
And what about in terms of the name, like Cigarettes After Sex is like more of the feel of the thing, it's like the imagery of it, or is just like it's something? Is it something like is the feeling that the band is supposed to convey, or is just like a conceptual thing?
To me, it's kind of like a mood title. Like you have like a title of a film, or you have a title of a band. It just kind of sets a mood a bit, and then the band becomes the name. The band actually makes.
There's a mosquito on.
Mosquitoes are attacking me.
Yeah. It's typical. Sorry.
But yeah, I was saying it's kind of like a mood name. Like you just kind of think this. It kind of sets the stage. Then the band kind of makes the name cool, like any band name. A band name by itself just could sound a bit flat even. But you think of a band like a cool band, and you think of the name, then you think of the sound immediately. So I think that's kind of what happens. We had to make the name cool. Like the name can kind of be what it's going to be, but it's not going to be anything special until the band sounds good. You know.
Sure.
So
sure.
But I think of that name that way. Just thought the name is kind of cool. It was a bit, it was sexualized and things like that. And I liked that idea that there was a lot of, there was sex missing from rock and roll in my eyes. So I thought that was something that was missing, something I wanted to play into and bring, more sex back to rock and roll, or back to. I see us as a rock and roll band or like a pop band at its heart.
It's funny because the name sounds intimate, but it doesn't necessarily come off as raunchy, I guess.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, maybe it seems like a sweeter thing. Honestly, people find the name. I've heard of a lot of fans finding the name when they're actually smoking cigarettes and they've just had sex. So it's a sweet feeling, and I think it's
kind of endearing in a way.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be this raunchy pornographic name. Like I could think of a lot of worse things. So that's it should be
Fuck Party 2000.
Yeah, for sure. So if it was that name, it'd be like
Circle Jerks. Come on.
Yeah, Circle Jerks, something like that. So there's a lot of raunchier names, like Alien Sex Fiend or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's supposed to be a sweet feeling.
There's a new album out. Well, how long was it in the making? So you guys have been pretty much doing EPs and stuff.
Yeah.
How far back does the writing go?
The writing goes back forever. It's like a lot of the songs. There's a few songs that were written around the time of the first EP, like right afterwards. There's a song called Flash on the record that was written maybe like a few months after the EP came out in 2012. And the rest of the stuff was just kind of, over the last 5 years, kind of random periods. And so it runs the gamut from stuff that's 5 years old to stuff that was done last summer. So it's a very long writing period, which is a bit crazy, because you just have this. It's like it's like a novel or something of, a novel of my life a bit, writing-wise. Yeah, because it incorporates a lot of relationships that I had over the last 5 years. Because if you think, if I write a record in like a few months, then it's pretty much going to probably be about one person or kind of what I'm going through then. But it's just such a wide period of time. So it took quite a while the writing took quite a while. The recording was very quickly. It took 3 days to record the record.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's unusual.
Yeah, and that's, honestly, I don't like to record too long. The writing could take as long as it's going to take, but I like more of a jazz mentality to recording where you just do it very quickly. And there's like a spontaneous approach to the recording. There's some sort of spark gained when you record very quickly like that, I think. And that's what we're after, is to get this kind of... It's flawed. It'll sound flawed at times. There'll be things that are like kind of rough around the edges. But I think like I said, it has this spark to it that you don't get in a lot of pop music that's very refined and very clean. So we're going after that feeling.
And that's the Lou Reed approach. Like, I mean, I guess like there's one take, and so Lou, do you want to do it again? What you mean? What do you mean that it's done?
Totally, and that's the Velvet around. Especially the third record, self-titled one, was a big influence on the band. Just how intimate that record sounds, and so he's a big influence.
Okay, so and I noticed that you guys that you play a Parker Fly, and that's an unusual guitar for any genre, I would say. How did you come across the Parker Fly?
The thing with that, I'd seen the guitar growing up, and I never really liked it because it would be really it seemed like some sort of studio musician guitar, which was very uncool.
It's very precise, a very precise guitar.
And then I didn't know anybody that played it. Honestly, I'm playing it because it's such a clean sound, and I just think it's kind of a strange guitar. It looks weird, especially the one I have with the pickguard. It's kind of a retro weirdo guitar, and I am a bit vain about it. I'm playing it because I just can't think of anybody else that plays it. You know?
Really?
You kind of
I'll tell you one person though.
Really?
Adrian Ballou.
Oh yeah, you're right, and he's great. I'm a big fan of him.
He has a signature model and all.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So if me and Adrian Ballou can be the Parker Fly guys, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. It's a cool click. You know, like two person.
No, he's fantastic. He's a great player.
He's
I like.
Awesome.
I like.
Nicest guy, by the way.
Really met him.
We met him twice.
Cool. Yeah. Like I'm a big fan of like Discipline, King Crimson, all that.
My fave.
Yeah, he's great.
My favorite records are King Crimson records and Pavement records.
Yeah.
This show is called Made of Things,
Yeah.
and it's based on the idea that as a musician you've dedicated yourself, or as an artist you've dedicated yourself to art because you read something or saw something or heard something that made you go, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Did you have that, and what was it?
I did. I was so young, though. It's crazy. I mean, I was born the same year the Thriller came out, Michael Jackson, and that was the record that did it for me. I saw him performing, and I thought that's where it's at. Like, he's fantastic. His music's fantastic, and I was so young when I got bit by the bug that I just wanted to be a performer. So it was very, very early on for me. It was Thriller came out, and I was like listening to it on headphones, like a Walkman when I was a kid. I had like the beige cassette tape of Thriller, and I was hooked on. I said at some point as a kid, I want to be a performer like Michael Jackson. So it seems very unlikely now because I don't know if our music really is that similar to that, but it's like that's where I got.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. I would say
It's very. It's not like, oh, I heard, it wasn't like, oh, I heard, Francois Hardy or something that's good. I got to that music a lot later, but the initial spark that I had was from like Thriller and like that kind of record. Yeah, so
It doesn't have to be similar though, and it's usually best if it's not.
So yeah, it's probably best as not. It's just such a weird, like, here's the map of the world, and Thriller's over here, and like where we got to is so far over here, but it's still one of my favorite records, honestly. I think it's such a great record, Thriller.
It's just hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat. Okay, so
hit after hit, yeah.
so I'll just ask you one last thing because we're running out of time here. We still have a lot of stuff to do later on.
Yeah.
But are you guys do you feel like you guys are a loner band, or do you have like, because it seems this is not your first rodeo, I would say, like from your performance and stuff. Do you guys have like brother bands and stuff? Have a circle of musicianship?
We don't really. I think we are kind of loner. It feels like we're a bit isolated, where we didn't kind of come up in a scene. Like, you hear these other bands come up in a scene, like it's like, oh, here's Talking Heads and Television, and they're all in the same scene in New York. But us, we were kind of just on our own, and it was always like that for me in El Paso. Even just, I kind of knew of other bands, but we didn't sound anything like them, and we didn't really click on a lot of influences. And when I got to New York, it was the same thing. I don't really know anybody, and I don't know anybody that's really trying to do what we're doing, because I liked shoegaze influences, but the writing had to be pop. Like, I wasn't trying to write kind of these shoegaze songs. I just thought I liked the sound of those records, but I wanted the writing to be like pop writing, be really like strong, consistent writing. And I didn't really say that from anybody. Even bands that, like, there'd be Beach House and stuff like that, and they're fantastic at creating productions of things, but I didn't see them as like a pop group. Like, they weren't writing pop songs. They just happened to have like a kind of really great sound. Yeah. So I feel like we're kind of a loner band where there's no one really. You can kind of compare us to some bands, but it's.
No, I mean in terms of stretching like your area of influence, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
We're not necessarily doing similar things at all.
Yeah. I can't. Maybe there's some people that now, but it's strange, like the clicks we get in, like the fans that like us, like other bands that sound really nothing like us too. So it's kind of strange.
That's usually a good sign, dude.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm cool with that, and it's a good thing.
Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, we're signing off. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time, and hope you enjoy more time over here.
Yeah.